Hello everybody, so in today's video we have this super rare 1990 Rover 216 SX. So the SX was a bit of a run out model, but this one was actually a demo car and it was fitted with optional leather interior. So in this video I'm going to give you a wee bit of a background into the Mark 1 200 series. We're going to take a closer look at this one, the exterior, the interior, the engine bay, and finally we're going to get behind the wheel and see how it drives. Now if you enjoy seeing retro cars like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. I've got another 20 that I've already filmed but I haven't aired yet, which I'm hoping to publish by the end of the year, and I've got some really rare cars to show you guys. Let's delve into the background on the first of a long line of Rover 200s. Codenamed the SD3, it was another joint venture with Honda and was based upon the much less well known Honda Ballade. Replacing the Triumph Acclaim and launched in June 1984, the concept of a small Rover badge car was totally at odds with the company's traditional offerings of large luxury saloons. It was marketed as a high quality and reliable little car, and certainly in initial 213 form using Honda's 12-valve power unit, that was certainly the case. However, featuring many times in the TV series, Keeping Up Appearances didn't really do it many favours in terms of street cred, and as time went on it transpired it tended to appeal to the more mature motorist. A year after launch, the Rover sourced 1.6 S series was offered, and then 2 years after that the car was facelifted, giving it new rear lights, a lowered boot sill and various interior changes. There were a couple of interesting models offered: the Vanden Plas, which had leather wood and lots of toys in typical Rover fashion, and a Vitesse for those who wanted a sporting model. This was fitted with a fuel-injected version of the 1.6 S series and in my opinion really looked the part. One thing I discovered about the Mark 1 200 series that I think must be fairly unique to any car out there is that it sold in its highest numbers in its final year of production. Good luck figuring that one out. Right, so let's take a wee look around the exterior of this one. Really suits white, I think, and you've got that red pinstripe that runs along those door mouldings there that really makes it stand out. Now a previous owner fitted some Vitesse alloys here, so they are non-standard. It would have had wheel trims originally from the factory, but as they're standard Rover items I think they set it off pretty nicely. Moving round to the back, you've got a Vitesse spoiler on these, and that's what these came with from the factory, just to make them look that wee bit more sporty. Again, that red stripe just carries on round the back. Unfortunately, do have a little pea shooter exhaust there, which I think they did all come with. It does look a little bit unusual in this day and age, but yeah, that was what you got. But this is such a rare model, and it's in particularly good condition, this one. Now, let's have a wee look around the front. We've also got colour-coded door mirrors there. That was a thing back then. And around the front, you have that front splitter that you generally only saw on the Vitesse models. So again, it does make it look very sporty, but it's very clean this. I think white has to be one of the best colours for these. What do you think? Right, let's take a wee look at this leather interior. So yeah, as I said, being a demo car, it was fitted with this optional leather upholstery. You probably only got that in the Vanden Plas models. What colour is it? I don't know. Will we be nice and say caramel? I actually really like it. I think it suits it really well. The plastics on this car are a dark brown colour. They came in various shades. Grey was the most common one. They're actually very comfortable, and they're in very good condition as well. So it's kind of an unusual spec in this car. We've got manual windows, but we have electric sunroof. Also we have a leather that was added in, wheels that were added on, and we have those bits of body kit. So that is a little bit unusual there. Right, so let's take a wee look at this dashboard. Very squared off, very 80s. Showing 27,000 miles on the clock. So being a 1.6 S series, we've got the red line at 6 instead of 6.5 that you'd see in the 1.3 Honda unit. That's where your choke would have been, a wee blanking plate there. I guess that would be air conditioning, which we don't have. That's just your recirculate and your 4 fan speeds. We have a digital clock over there. One thing I always liked about these is you had these extra vents here just to let in cold air, regardless of what you had the rest of the heating system set to. Looks like we have an original Philips radio cassette player down there. They're getting very sought after now. 5-speed manual gearbox. And down below you have your electric sunroof switch. And that little 3-spoke Rover steering wheel there, and your hazard warning lights on the top. Heated rear window switch and a little coin tray hiding down there. So moving over to the door trims, yeah, we've got leather inserts there to match interior. No wood. You did get wood trim on some of these, which this one doesn't have. and then tweeters there, which look like they were fitted as standard. I'm hoping there's tweeters in there and they're not blanking plates. I could be wrong. And we have manually adjustable outside door mirrors. But yeah, I think it's a very unusual colour combination, but it does kind of suit it pretty well. Let's take a wee look in the back. The leather's in amazing condition, to be fair. You've got a wee armrest there in the middle. Not a massive amount of legroom for a short driver such as me. And you've got wee pockets in the back of these seats. But yeah, it's a very nice place to be. The headlining is sagging a little bit. I do feel really tall, you know, my legs don't fit, my head doesn't fit. I can be 6.5 foot tall. Couple of little standard fit speakers there on the back parcel shelf. But yeah, it's in lovely condition. And again, matching seat belts in this fetching caramel colour. Right, let's take a wee look under that bonnet. I owned one of these for 4 years, so I know how to open it. So that's good. So here we have the 1.6 S series. So you got these in Maestros and Montegos. In this case, what we've got is carburetor with auto choke. So that's interesting. It's great condition under here. It's a very, very small engine bay. Now I come to look at one many years after owning one. Very, very compact, and the engine does sit quite far forward. And all of this is just taken up by your fuel system and your manifolds. But access is still pretty decent, maybe not so much so for the stuff right at the front of the engine. So obviously 5-speed manual gearbox, as most of these were. And you've got an ECU down there controlling your cold start and things like that. So yeah, it does seem in pretty good condition, this one, and certainly 27,000 miles it does show. Still got your original asbestos sticker on there, so that is nice to see. Right, let's see how this wee Rover 216 drives. This will be bringing back memories. I had a 213 many years ago. Very revy little things. So the gears are nice and tight on this one, 27,000 miles. You know, there's no slop or play at all in that. So that's pretty impressive. This is a non-power assisted steering model. They get very light when you're up and running like this. Manoeuvring about is a different matter. They're not too bad, to be honest, but yeah, it does feel very, very light when you get up to these speeds. But this gearbox is an absolute joy. It's great to see one that isn't worn. Brakes are alright, very light in operation. Obviously no ABS in these. Now that 1.6 S series, I think it's about 86 brake horsepower this. So yeah, it seems to pull alright. Certainly be interested to drive one of the Vitesse models to see what difference that fuel injection made. That 1.6 S series, certainly it's torquey enough, I think, to pull a little car like this along. Very, very smooth. Yeah, so I quite like this. This is going to be another one I'm going to have to add to my list, isn't it? Driving position, you sit quite low. I think the steering wheel, I don't know, maybe the steering wheel isn't adjustable. Oh yeah, it is. There we go. That's better. Now I can see over it properly. So the exhaust note on this one, nice and crispy, standard system. It's interesting comparing the characteristics versus a 1.3 Honda unit, that availability of low down torque but versus the lack of top end pull. Driving one of these in 2024, it feels like a very small compact car compared to in the 80s when it would have been considered a family car. So that concludes my review of the Mark I Rover 216. It was way back in 1998 when I bought the red 213 that's seen me mostly through university, so it's been great to experience a Mark I again all these years later. So in conclusion, I think the styling of these Mark Is is really appealing now in 2024. Properly hits the mark for a 1980s underdog, especially an SX spec with all the sporty add-ons. Secondly, in terms of rarity, they're getting very thin on the ground due to corrosion issues, so if you want one, best buy one sooner rather than later. And finally, thanks to Morris Leslie Motor Auctions for supplying this car to the channel. To give you an idea on value, this car bid to $2,900 on the day. Thanks very much for viewing.